Hello. Hello everybody, this is Rayman GBC. And yeah, I'm ready if people are ready with the timer. Anyone?
Yeah, he's probably ready.
Okay. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. So, I don't know anything about Rayman games, as a heads up, which is probably a bad qualification when you're running one. This is the only one I ever played. I played it as a kid many, many years ago, and I decided to start running it just to see what it was like again a few months back now, and I accidentally broke it. I found the biggest skip the game's got, which we'll point out when we get there. And yeah, it's just a fun game. It's a good platformer. I'm a fan of like indie platformers anyway, so this is like right up my alley. Most of the... I should talk mechanics. There's a lot of ledge grabbing in this game. It likes to throw you onto the ledge whenever it can, if you're even remotely close to it. You can also do actions immediately from the ledge, so if we're playing really well, you won't actually see any slowdown if we ledge jump. Like that. That was a little bit of slowdown. You can be frame perfect and it won't actually slow you down because you can jump the second you grab it. This is the first of 3 auto-scrollers. So, not a ton we can do. I'm going to try and do a super jump at some point. It's completely useless. See if we can do it. So the requirements to super jump, you have to jump exactly on the frame that you land and only jump for a single frame. So you can hear me kind of flicking the jump button a bit. This trick is like only doable in the first 2 worlds, because once you get a power up later on, it stops being able to be done. There it is, that was a super jump. It's a tiny amount higher than a regular jump. You can only do it in the first 2 worlds because a power up breaks it later and there's nowhere useful to use it, so that's a nice little bonus for you, seeing as we're just killing time. When we get to the end of this level, the screen will stop scrolling as soon as we touch the last platform. It's actually possible to ledge grab the last platform too early, which will stop the screen scrolling, but it doesn't give you enough space to jump onto the last platform, which will completely soft lock us. Which is funny, but not great for a speedrun. So we will have to be careful-ish. This is a Game Boy Color game. I think it looks like really pretty for a Game Boy game, but because it looks really pretty, there's a good few sections that lag quite a bit, and nearly everything lags a little bit because it's really pushing the graphics on a Game Boy. Hardest trick in the first world coming up. There we go. So I knocked that plumb platform off as late as possible, and I actually jumped off of it while it was falling. Skips a little bit, and then we skip even more here, just by taking that long fall and catching that as soon as we can. Kill these fish off because they lag. Any kind of sprites or anything we want to get rid of as much as we can. I'm going to crouch here because I'm going to intentionally take a hit from this. But crouching... Ooh, I didn't get it. Crouching means that I don't take knockback. And if you do take knockback on that platform, you nearly always die. These little blue enemies are a nightmare, because when you hit them, they have a death animation where they jump upwards, but they still have a hitbox the entire time, for some reason. So you can't kill them when you're really close to them and then jump over them, because you'll get bopped. World 2 is the most fun world in the game, because you get all of these slidey platforms and you can hold a lot of speed, if you're good. I am okay. Pick up this heart here, because we're about to do a clip where we damage boost through some of these musical spikes. Oh, I didn't quite get it. We've got a back up there. Ink. There we go. Skips about the last third of the level. Yeah, the OST is really good in this game as well. Music's all brilliant. This is just a great game. Really recommend playing it. It only takes about an hour and a half to get through the full game if you're playing casually. Really cheap as well. Also, I'm informed, so I take no blame if this is wrong. I'm informed that this is the only Rayman game where you don't have to break open any cages to be able to beat the game. So there's lots of cages in every level and we won't be doing any of them. Jumping up here is normally for a secret. We're actually going to use the slopes here to gain a bit of speed, and the fact that this platform has no collision underneath it to get to the goal platform early. There is a cheeky little jump here, if we can do it. Nope, didn't get it. You can just about jump off the end of that little slope, and you'll jump straight over to the second cloud. It just saves waiting for that cycle. It is right cheeky. Another skip here. Oh, we didn't get it. Can I back this up? Oh, okay. I've never done this before. You don't normally have to go underneath here. You can hold your speed normally. Where's the cloud? I've never done this before. I don't think I've ever missed that. Yeah. Normally you can jump late off of the final slope, and it will carry you over, skipping that entire basement section. Unfortunately, I am bad. Another skip here. You'd normally not get down to this section that we're damage boosting to until the second half of the level, and it brings you back here and loads a cloud up later on so that you can get back to where you were rather than having to do the whole level again. We can just get to that trigger, activate this cloud, and skip half the level. I always hated those things when I was playing this as a kid. Jump there just to preserve a bit of speed. You don't need to crawl underneath that because you can jump through the gap. And then you're about to see how good the music notes damage hitboxes are. Don't need to move for this section at all, we'll just float through them all. That's the end of World 2. Game's more broken than Winx Club. You haven't seen the big thing's coming. I don't want to hype it up too much, but the big thing is coming soon. So now we have the helicopter power. This was the power up that I mentioned earlier that breaks the super jump. So press A in the air to hover. We really want to avoid that bonus stage. Bonus stages are like a time trial where you have to collect all of these shiny things. The only way to get out of them is to either beat it or let the timer run down, so nearly always like a 2-minute time loss to land there. Wait for his jump cycle as he bites us off of the ledge. I'm going to show us the big thing, yeah. Going to get banned on ESA for showing you the big thing. Did I get the early cycle? Oh, I did. That is really tight to not get hit by that. Few platforms we can skip here. Good jump. Ropes kind of have a well, they're basically the same thing as ledges, except you can move up and down on them. So we can be actionable the second we grab them. Second auto-scroller, it's actually faster to go underneath this platform and jump up to it to activate the water. It's supposed to activate once you get to here, but if you jump up from underneath, you activate the water as well. And it has the added bonus that you get the heart while you're there. High crafted. Might as well talk about lag while we're here. Any kind of sprites cause lag, so we want to kill the... Okay, am I dead? Am I dead? Am I dead? Yeah. I don't know what I did there. Imagine dying on an auto-scroller. What a disgrace. I'd completely blanked. I have no idea what mistake I just made. Yeah, these sprites... well, sprites will cause lag, so we want to kill these blue guys as quickly as possible. Rayman community is cringing if they're watching me right now, because I don't know the name of any of the enemies. We also don't really want to collect these... shiny things? I don't know what they're called either. Because there's an animation that plays when you collect them, and that can generate lag as well. I'd be really interested to see if a bunch of people wanted to run this and really optimise it, because I reckon lag reduction could become a massive factor in this run. I do fairly basic things. but there is a lot of lag. Second tries the charm. Now we're on to World 4. Introduction to these bouncy clouds that I really hate. Really easy to mess the jump up on them. Like, the mechanic is not how you'd expect it to work. Worth mentioning, because we'll try and do it a couple of times in this run, you can actually jump after you've left a platform. You can basically ledge jump, and the window's huge. It's something silly like 10 frames. Which is great for sections in here, like we're going to try and do it off the end of this platform. Like that. There's a section coming up in World 5 where we really don't want to do it. Yeah, the big glitch is coming up on the next stage. Not much to talk about for the rest of this one. And I'm not really going to explain it at the time because it goes by pretty quickly if I get it. Might take a few attempts to get it. But I'll explain it afterwards. I missed that. An interesting ledge to miss. Alright, be good to me. There we go. Hands free. So, we do a setup at the start to land on the edge of that cloud in a way that we land on it for a single frame and then immediately fall off. That gives the game enough time to say Rayman is on the cloud and should have the properties of the cloud while it moves, but doesn't give it enough time to say always come off it again. So it keeps like the inertia properties of the cloud on Rayman. So while the cloud's moving up, you move up. While the cloud's moving down, you move down. Like regardless of the fact that you're not on it anymore. We then unload the cloud by walking to the right and taking it off screen. At a point where the cloud is moving upwards. That unloads the cloud itself and the movement, but it doesn't unload the inertia that Rayman's getting, so you consistently get an upwards inertia. And then... I'm gonna put that. And then we grab a ledge, which normally you wouldn't be moving on at all, but then the game's also still trying to apply that upwards movement, so we'd stay still, but we actually move upwards. But also, because you're grabbing a ledge, you aren't tangible. It doesn't bother checking for collision, because you wouldn't be moving on a ledge. So you just float through objects. And luckily, the particular ledge that we grabbed onto lines up with an enemy later on that knocks us out of that state. And that was something I accidentally found. I want to sit there and say I was big-brained and I looked for it. It was a complete fluke. That's a slight lie. Finding the cloud thing was a complete fluke. I realised, well, I messed around with it and found that you could do the ledge bit afterwards. What's the plot? Mr. Dark has stolen your friends and caged them up. So rather than rescuing them out of cages, we're just going to beat Mr. Dark up. Unlike every other Rayman game where you'd normally rescue all of your friends along the way. World 4. World 5 introduced these rings guy. Let me try that sentence again. World 5... Oh. Okay. World 5 introduces those ring guys, which have annoying properties. You generally want to avoid them if you can. They're slower than jumping and helicoptering through. Where you do have to swing off of them, you want to be falling when you hook onto them, as falling gives you a faster swing than if you're rising. This is an awkward section. We really only want to take one damage boost. You did? Lovely. There's a section here where you're supposed to hook onto that ring and fall all the way down, and we'll just do it ourselves. Skip a hook there with a well-timed throw. Skip a section here by jumping and getting blown up at the peak of our jump. We then throw the fist and duck so that it angles downwards slightly, which will hit the platform that we're standing on and cause it to swing. I have to be really careful with when I jump here. We want as much height as possible to reach that platform. This cycle's annoying. We have to just wait like almost a full cycle for that platform to come back down. If you're designing a game, folks, don't do that. It's just annoying. Ride that platform. Platforms move at exactly the same speed Rayman walks, so it sometimes looks like we're wasting time by not moving. It makes no difference. And this is the section I mentioned earlier where we really don't want to ledge jump. We want to make sure that we hover there. Ledge jumping just punch you straight up into the spikes. Excuse me. Faster to not take that platform. That's a shame. Got it. Annoyingly difficult for how little time that saves. That is a Massive Attack album cover behind me. It's my favourite album. You can't see there's a Portishead album right behind where my head is. One of my other favourite albums. Not as good as Massive Attack, so. Might as well wait for that guy, because we have to wait for this platform. Don't bother with that platform. Hover so that we can punch that guy out of the air. The theme for this world is so good. Oh. Oh, really? My guy. We have to take the safety hearts. Can't really risk 2 health. Specifically want to hit that backwards on the backswing so that it pulls it towards us. This is not a lot of height. Why are you not being a friend? You serious? I'm gonna hit it backwards! This never happens! What? There we go. Those plumb platforms are very strange. It's really easy to... like, if you hit it while it's going down a slope, you'll cancel all of the momentum it already has. And it will just slow down a bunch, which is really annoying. And they're just really finicky to do well. Normally hitting it twice like I did gets it fine, but... it must have just caught a bad bit of the slope or something. Now the Fire World is my least favourite. I'm not a fan of this one as much. The theme's not that good, and there's lots of annoying stuff in this world. Jump to the right of that hook. Okay, and actually grab the ledge this time, please, my dude. Thank you. Skip a hook because it's slow. I want to grab this guy as late as possible so that we have enough height for this. And if we're quick, just damage boost. Oh, I didn't get it. Still didn't get it. Okay. So, knockback. Whenever you take damage, knockback is always pushing you the opposite way of where you're facing. So the I don't know how I hit that backwards. Yeah. So, oh, I forgot. It's just proper throw me off. Yeah, knockback is always in the opposite way you were facing. So you can use that property sometimes, like I was trying to do there, and intentionally face the opposite direction when you take a hit, and that would have jumped me onto the ledge if I was good, but I wasn't. Oh, I didn't fast climb enough. I'm gonna spawn this guy here. I have to wait for him now. Normally you want to go on the top there because it despawns that hoop. The bat hoop thing. I'm sure they've got a name as well. At some point I'm going to learn the lore for this game. Be very careful here. These flame hitboxes last deceptively long. Yeah, that's a lot slower than I'd normally take it, but dying there would have lost so much time. Damage boost through those spikes, just by jumping twice. You're going to notice towards the end of this level we're going to get a lot of lag. This is a very big level, and then they're going to throw a lot of sprites at us right at the end. Skip a cycle there by catching that bat hoop on the way down, rather than waiting for it to fall. Here's the lag. And then it goes. This wall doesn't exist. Fun fact. Walk right through it. And the cycle for these guys doesn't really line up very well either. Yes, this is an official game. Not a very well known one, but it is official. What? I'm really glad that happened very, very early. I just didn't grab the ledge. Okay, this is the final auto-scroller. There's really not much to say in this. Until we get to the end. This auto-scroller has two platforms towards the end that slope upwards. And the way the auto-scroller screen works is that if you go too high up, the top of the screen tries to push you down. It's possible... Okay. Possible to walk up... I don't know what happened there. It's possible to walk up the slopes high enough that you get pushed through the ground by the top of the screen. I think what happened there, I think I hit the hook too far away, and if you swing into a flat piece of ground like I'm stood on now while you're on a hook, it will cancel the hook, so you have to get quite close to these ones to avoid catching the edge. Maybe I was too blasé and just swung as I fancied and didn't pay attention to it. But yeah, there's some slopes coming up. Is this the first one? Yeah, it is. If I were to walk all the way up this, probably this one actually. I have to stop and be careful, because if I go too far up, the top of the screen pushes me through the platform and then I die. Auto scrollers are really weirdly implemented in this game. The music does that when you're near a cage. There's a few places that'll happen, or has happened probably. We're not interested in cages, we don't care.
Do we have time for a donation?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We have a $5 donation from Skip11 EP7 Inc. With no comment. Thank you for your donation.
We're in the second of two helicopter levels. This is another level that lags to hell, because they decide to chase you with like 4 sprites at a time. The game really can't handle that. And there'll be a couple of sections coming up later where they're spinning in a circle. And it really doesn't like that. We're going to be using a lot of helicopter cancels, which is probably a far more fancier name than the trick deserves. We're just going to punch in the air, because it's faster falling than it is falling with the helicopter thing on. That cycle wasn't very nice to me. Like here, we're just going to fall this entire section, rather than floating down. And this is where the lag kicks in. Again, damage boosting, facing the opposite way where you can, so that it damage boosts you towards the direction you want to go. Thankfully that's the end of Fiery Depths. Yeah, imagine a Game Boy game lagging this much. We're into the final world. Probably the hardest. There's a couple of gimmicks coming up in the last 2 levels, but there's a few difficult sections. The start is that one. I have to wait a little bit to avoid that guy, but the rope hitbox doesn't extend as far down as the sprite does. There we go. I want to jump in between the 2 sections here so that we don't catch that rope, but we do catch that platform. That was very well done. Well done, Amoeba. You did good. See if we can conserve some speed through these slippy platforms. There we got a little bit. This guy sucks. Please jump, thank you. So we're right at the top of the ceiling, we can't actually jump over that guy in any way. Hate that they placed him there. Get these platforms when we can. And now it's scary time, because we're about to get the last health pickup until the final boss. So whatever health we have going, or whatever damage we take from here, we take into the final boss. And there's also a damage boost that we have to do in this level. We don't have to do it, but slow if we don't. Tricky section coming up here. There's these slippy platforms into a load of rings. We can skip all but the last one, but we have to slow down towards the end. If we actually go full speed and catch that last ring, we'll be past it when we catch it, and it will swing us the opposite direction and kill us. And that was the damage boost, by the way. This section's a nightmare if you play casually. Really easy to miss these rings up. Another guy that's right at the top of the ceiling. And then we get an introduction to Dark Rayman. He's not too much to worry about, but the camera angle it gives you here, I presume is to show so you can always see him. Just really annoying, because it's like centered. You can't really see where you're going to, so you have to know the level pretty well. And also he obviously punishes you if you make silly mistakes. And there's no checkpoints during this level. And the hardest bit is right at the end of the level. So if we make a mistake there, it's a massive time loss. But we shouldn't. Faster to ledge grab those platforms. There's a little clip here that will save a little bit of backtracking, if I can get it. This was a recent discovery. There we go. You can actually grab the ledge there, and then you're already through the platform while you're hanging off the ledge. There we go. And then the final level's gimmick is that they're reverse controls. So left is right, right is left. Not as bad as Dark Rayman. Pretty easy to get used to. The level itself is easier because they expected this gimmick to be difficult, I presume. Oh, okay. I got a lot more leftwards momentum than I expected there. Probably the only hard bit is that trumpet dude. And it's a very short level as well. Right, we've got good health for Mr. Dark, which is nice. I normally eat poop. This guy sucks. So he has 3 set attack patterns, and then he has a set of attack patterns for each set. Anyway, he always does these fireballs. He'll always do a different type of fireballs later, and then lightning attacks. But then he goes into a ball form, which is the only time you can hit him, and this is completely random, where he appears and where he moves. Also, he's on a timer, and if you don't hit him quickly enough, this is terrible. Come on, thank you. Where are you? E, that was good. Yeah, if you don't hit him quick enough, he'll go back into his attack phase and you have to wait a long while. The attacks are really, really easy to avoid, he says as he gets hit. Trust me, they are. But the other section is completely RNG. It's probably the most annoying thing about running this game, is that your final time is really dependent on how lucky you get with the spawns in this fight. He sometimes likes to spawn right there, where I just punched. And that's really quick if he does. And then these are all really slow. That was pretty good. Alright, and count the lightning bolts with me. It's time to do counting with Rayman. 1 lightning bolt. 2 lightning bolts. 3 lightning bolts. 4 lightning bolts. I'm not going to keep saying lightning bolt. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 lightning bolts. Why did they put so many in? Alright, time is on the 3rd hit on this section. Also, missing the time, missing all 3 hits here is really bad. Look at this. How am I supposed to hit that? There we go. Oh, I pressed select. Where are you? Look at this. This is awful. Garbage. We're going to have to count lightning bolts again. Please, no. I'm going to die. Come down, come down, come down. Hey, time. Oof. If I'd have died there, that would have been so much time. But yeah, that's Rayman GBC. That was an okay time. I think that was a low 32. Thanks for watching, guys. Give me a shout if you fancy running this. It's a really easy game to get into. Please ignore the final boss, that's not that great. Otherwise, pretty fun. Yeah, thanks UKSG for having me. And stick around for the later runs. I know there's a Let's Go run coming up for Pokemon. I like Pokemon runs, I'll be checking that out. And don't forget to donate.